Well, it's 1 minute early.
Yeah, we're 1 minute early, guys. If you want to join I guess we have webinar people coming. So here's how this is all going to work. We're doing this over Zoom. And for the next 90 minutes, Neil and I are going to record Marketing School. And then the people that are on the webinar, or actually the people that are watching this live from anywhere, please put your questions in. Noah over here. Noah is going to try to get to as many questions as possible. And it's going to be a fun time. And then if you're actually on the webinar right now, the Zoom webinar, we're going to, if we pick your question, we're actually going to loop you in to the video. So come camera ready. It's going to be a fun time. And those of you that are going through this right now, or just joining us, how are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being best, 1 being terrible, like I need a vacation? How are you feeling? Noah, how are you feeling right now?
Feeling amazing, Eric.
Amazing. But you said you need a vacation.
Yeah, I
So
do. But it's Friday, so it's less pressing.
yeah. Well, Friday is like any other day now. It's just it's like for me, I'm like, okay, you say you're gonna take a break, or me, and I'm like, end up doing the same thing. And then what happens? You end up Monday comes and you're burnt out. That's how it's been for me the last couple of weeks. Yeah. Hello, Jose. Let's see who else do we got here. We got Francisco. We got Eric Schwartzman. Hello, Eric. We have Stefano. I keep saying Stefano. We have Suzanne. Guys, come with your questions, and I think you're able to actually upvote them as well. And we're gonna pick the ones that are upvoted, or if Noah sees something really good, it's gonna be great. And we'll get started in a couple of minutes. But while we wait for Neil to come in, he's fashionably late. Um, whatever questions you have around your business right now, go for it. Today, I think some of the topics we're going to be talking about are going to be around: should you be following your gut feeling? How to keep your business knowledge fresh. Look at my library back here. I can't even keep my fingers. Um, Maybe we might be talking about trade-offs, marketing trends, just to get your ideas going in terms of what you think you need. What else? How to launch a profitable education product right now. That's a big thing. Yeah, a lot of stuff to be talking about. But but yeah, let me text Neil real quick, see where he is. Maybe he's on baby duty. Da-da. This would be a good time for you to grab some water, go use the restroom real quick. Because once we go, you're not going to want to miss anything. Right, Noah?
It's nonstop thrills in action.
I almost spit out my tea.
90 minutes.
90 minutes, 90 minutos. Let's see what we got. YouTube right now. We got people. I'm gonna open up chat myself too. Let's see.
Yeah.
Open up in browser. See what people are
Wow.
saying.
John said John Sloan's been working 80 hours a week for the last 2.5 months, and the business grew by 4x.
4x. Ask him what he did. Well, I guess he can see me. What did you do, Jono?
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, how many hours have you guys been working in the last 2 months on average? Is it 40 hours, 60, 20 hours, 80, 100 hours? Hello, Saad from India. Nice to see you. Can you hear what I'm clicking?
No.
No? Guys, by the way, I keep talking about this. I rave about this. This is one thing you need to add right now. Krisp.ai, KRISP. And you can see like I'm clapping right now and you can't even hear me clapping right now. So if a bomb blew up behind me, you wouldn't even know. Neil messaged me, he's coming right now. Lauren, 40 to 50 hours a week. Eric Schwartzman, 70 hours. Mandy, I don't know why I feel like I feel compelled to say your last name, Eric. Mandy is 50 minimum. Suzanne, someone asked what I was doing this weekend. Weeks actually end. Yeah, it's just like it's Groundhog Day every day, right? Suzanne's averaging 60. Johnel is farm to fork. We deliver premium meat and seafood. Huh. I'm sure your business is doing well. Rich is 20 hours a week focused, 20 hours a week reframing. Business is booming and wonderfully automated. That's fantastic. The hours you spend reframing and strategizing, that's probably equal or even greater than the time you spend actually working. Let's see, Mr. Day or Mrs. or Miss, you're 14 years old, you want to start an SEO agency. Sure, we can talk about that as well. Explorotera, I'm working 16 hours a day. This is crazy. You cannot sustain 16 hours a day. That's just, I don't even know how you can do that. Lauren says, I would work more, however, child now doing homeschool. Jose is 4 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday. Wow, that's nuts. You guys are crazy.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you. Are you on the main mic?
Let's see.
Make
Testing. Now I can turn on video at least.
Yep.
There you go.
You shaved. How come you shaved for this one, but yesterday when you were live, you didn't shave?
Was I live yesterday?
You were. I was watching you, and I kept making fun of you, but you didn't respond to me.
I didn't see it.
Anyway, we have 17 people here right now. 16 people.
Testing. No, that's not
it doesn't sound like you're on. Let me send you the doc over here. Guys, feel free to start asking questions. We're gonna adjust the topics real quick before we start recording. So if you ask questions now, we can actually answer them as we sort out. We have the topics ready. Neil's just gonna do a once over, and then we're gonna officially get started. Neil, I'm gonna drop this in chat just for you. Here's the link.
Does this work now?
Oh, that sounds great.
It sounds the same to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Talk again?
It's better. It's better for sure.
Oh no, it's not better. Look at his face.
No, I am on the Scarlet.
Believe you.
Tap
It doesn't sound better to me. Hit it. Yeah, so he's not on it.
No,
I'm
that's
on it or no?
You're.
It doesn't sound like he's hitting it.
You don't hear that?
No. Oh, because you're on okay. If your headphones feel it, then good. Because I'm just listening to speakers. Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
he's hitting it.
I was wrong, guys. Fine.
Dude, your background's so legit. I'm like, I wish I lived there.
Yeah, it's the U.S. Congress Library, I think. But click on the link, and let's get started. Let's do this. Okay. While Neil addresses the topics, let's see who else we got. Feels so good to hear your voice. You're like the guru of content marketing SEO. I'm assuming that one's for you, Neil.
Could be for you. You are too.
No, it says here, Neil, welcome. So let's see, 32 to 40 hours for agency, endless hours for side projects. Good for you, Trevor. Taj wants to start an SEO agency. I think if you're 14 or 16 years old, you do what Raghav did for me, where you reach out to a business you really like. You write a detailed strategy on what you would do for them, and you say, hey, you want me to do it for you. Neil and I always advocate for that. And that actually worked out for him. And now he works for Gary Vee, and he's doing amazing things. He's continuing to get better and better. Let's see what else we got.
This is a cool question in the Q&A. Jose has a cowhide handbags with a Western crowd that buys it. He's wondering what he can do to build a community around it, where he interviews rodeo people and country artists.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you do. You like how we're doing things right now. You do a Zoom meeting, you simulcast it, and you start asking good questions. And you know what you don't want to do? Yesterday I was on a podcast interview, and it pissed me off. Like, these guys invite me to do an interview, and then so get on the podcast. He's like, "So what's your company do?" And I'm like, "Wow." Like, what you don't want to do that is you reach out to people, you do the research on them, at least even 15 to 30 minutes of research. That goes a long way to show that you actually care and you understand. And then that's going to help you ask good questions when you're on the podcast. So you're not just like reading off a script, because that guy yesterday, he was just reading off a script. He's like, so this, and you can just like rapid fire. He wasn't even asking a follow-up question to it. So that's not how you do an interview. Interviews, how you build relationships with people is you show curiosity. And if you don't have curiosity, you can't build relationships with people.
I'm ready to go, Eric.
All right, here we go. So I'm going to hit record, and here we go. Record to the computer. Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Su.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're going to talk about 30 lessons after 30 million SEO visits. So this is a 4-part series. So we have to average 7.5 lessons.
Well, let's do 8 the first 2, and then do 7 and 7.
All right, you're going first.
Doesn't matter because it's 8 even numbers. All right. So the biggest lesson that I ended up learning is if you want to end up scaling your traffic really quickly, SEO is competitive, but if you go and expand globally, so transcribing your content, translating, transcribing, you can use sites like Upwork for that. You would use hreflang. That's a huge win. To give you an idea, the most popular region on my blog right now, most people think it's either United States or India. It is actually Brazil. I'm now getting on average 1.2 million visits a month just from Brazil.
Cool. Number 2 is when you think about SEO, especially if you're going to hire someone, understand that there's no guarantees. Just like there's no guarantees in life, there are no guarantees with SEO. Like Neil and I, we text each other our traffic numbers, or we talk about our traffic numbers because we're neurotic like that. But it goes up and down. It ebbs and flows, and you cannot expect there to be any guarantee. Especially so, if anybody promises a guarantee of any kind, just know that probably there's something off.
Number 3, if you don't build links, you're not going to rank no matter what. And it's hard to put an ROI to link building, but you just need a ton of links. And it's part of the foundation, especially if you're going after competitive industries. Of course, the easiest way to get them is content, but and I'm not saying you should buy them, but you got to really start doing the manual outreach, the broken link building, all those tactics that we all hate. If you don't do that, it really is hard to scale up.
Is this number 4?
Yep.
Number 4 is you have to have a lot of patience, meaning, and I'll share a story here. When I took over Single Grain, our blog was getting about 4,000 visits a month from organic. And we've now ramped up to, it's still on, it's decent traffic now, about 300,000, but we want to get up to 1 million, obviously, and just continue to ramp. But just understand that with compound interest, you're usually not going to see anything for a while. After the first year, I think we got up to like maybe 10,000 visits a month, and then it was like 15,000, 25,000, 50,000, jumped into 150,000, and it just kept ramping. But it takes years and years to get there. People end up giving up too early, and they don't have the patience. So you got to have patience.
Number 5. Number 5. When you're doing SEO, you need to spend a big portion of it is content marketing, and a lot of people just try to crank out new content. Once you have enough content, you should consider spending a large portion of your time updating old content instead of just only focusing on creating new content. It's a great way to generate more revenue or more traffic, and then you'll maintain the traffic, and then from there you can get revenue because you'll hopefully convert some of those people.
All right. Number 6. Number 6 is, if you think about it, SEO back in the day is what's the newest thing that can get links? Maybe it might be a widget, and maybe it might be an infographic. And then it becomes, before that, maybe it was an ebook that's going to help you get links, or a really good resource. Nowadays, we're talking about 2020. Everyone's kind of stepped up their game. So how do you step it up even beyond that? Well, you lead with the product. So product-led growth is a great way to, if you give away, you can create a product, give it away for free, or even give away one of your features for free, like what we do with ClickFlow's content decay tool, or Neil's Uber Suggest is completely has a freemium version. But that generates a ton of links because it's novel, it has utility, and it's different than just another ebook or another infographic.
Lesson number 7, SEO does not convert as well as pay-per-click, and it never will because you have to get your rankings through content. So the big thing that I've learned over the years, and a lot of people aren't willing to do this, but if you don't, it really is hard to generate a ROI. You got to be more aggressive with your CTAs within your text, your pop-ups, driving them to ebooks like Eric's mentioning, exit pop-ups to drive them throughout a funnel or a quiz. That's the easiest and best way if you combine those type of strategies to convert those SEO visitors into revenue. And if you don't, you'll see your traffic continually rise, but you'll find that it's also hard to close them into revenue.
Number 8, last but not least, you cannot bet everything on SEO. We've seen so many people that bet the farm on SEO and their business just goes out overnight. So as soon as you can get SEO working, you have to think about diversifying. If you look at it, Neil and I both have YouTube channels. We both have email lists. We both have software. We both have, I guess software is not really a channel, but diversify your channels. That's one of the key things you can do. So you can insulate yourself from, I guess, any type of adjustment that might, tank your business overnight. So that is it for today. That's 8, but we got more. We got 22 more coming your way in the next few. Go to marketingschool.io/live. That's LIVE. Check it out. It's our live event, which has been switched to virtual right now. But check it out. Fill out an application. If it sounds good, Neil and I will reach out to you, and we will see you tomorrow. That's converted, and then we're on to next one. Ta-da. Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Su.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're going to talk about part 2 of 30 lessons after 30 million SEO visits. So Neil, what is number 1?
Number 1 is the best. Technically, we're not number 1.
Number 9. We're going to keep going. Number 9, yeah.
Yeah. So number 9 would be, from everything that I've done to acquire links, the best 2 ways to acquire links I've always found is give free tools. Eric mentioned that in the previous episode. But the second way, this is actually the easiest way because creating tools is hard. Or if you want to create them, you can just go to Code Canyon and try to find one that's already existing and use that and pay like 10, 15 bucks. But the easiest way is infographics. And infographics, even though the infographics themselves don't necessarily generate a ton of traffic, they can bring a lot of backlinks, which will help your overall site.
All right. Number 10, understand black hat SEO, but do it in a white hat way. So, I've experimented with gray, black hat back in the early days when I was doing SEO, and, easy come, easy go. That's how you have to look at SEO and also look at life and look at business as well. So, but knowing that black hat does work in some way, if you just repurpose it and said, okay, instead of doing a link wheel, which is a bunch of different spammy websites linked together and they link to your website because they power each other. That has proven to work in the past. But instead of doing that, what if you just had a bunch of authoritative sites linking to each other and then they link back to you? So that's one example of a link wheel working in a white hat way. I'm not saying link wheels are very effective now, but that's just one thing we learned in the past, that once you learn how to repurpose and think about it just a little differently, you can go further.
Yeah. What are we on? Number 11?
Yeah.
Number 11 is don't obsess about SEO updates. Here's what I mean by that is there's multiple algorithm updates that happen per day. They're not major ones. You'll start seeing major ones multiple times a year, maybe 4 or 5. I don't know what the exact number is for major ones, but you don't know what Google's going to do. You don't know how they're going to change. One thing that is certain though is they're trying to provide the best experience for their searchers. So if you obsess about users instead of Google, and you create the best experience for users, yes, you may see some dips when there are algorithm updates, but in the long run, you should go up if you do what's best for people.
All right, number 12. And actually, Neil, we were talking about this the other day. It's really not all about the traffic that you're getting. It's more so about the conversions and the return on investment that you're getting. So don't focus too much on traffic, because by the way, like I know for Single Grain, same thing for Neil's blog, we can write about random subjects and get a ton of traffic. So for example, if we write about marketing careers, sure, we can get a ton of traffic around it, but does it fit the business models that we have right now with the software, with the agencies? Now you can argue if we're in the education space, which is what we're building right now, those types of creating that type of content matters. But just keep in mind, you got to think about what matters for you in terms of conversions and ROI right now, and then you want to create around that. It's not all about the traffic.
Number
13,
focus. So whenever you're doing SEO, it's easier to rank a site that specializes in one thing, such as digital marketing, than to rank a site that's on everything like about.com. And about.com has a case study in which they tore apart about.com, deleted most of their content, the majority of it, took the remaining amount, split it up into either 5 or 6 subsites, and they actually generated way more traffic than when they had one site about everything.
What is this, number 14?
Yep.
Number 14 is a little interesting to me because I like learning from the SEO industries, like really good SEOs. But sometimes when you follow the SEO industry, it's funny. I have different lists on Twitter. One's entrepreneurs, one's venture capitalists, and then you have the SEO lists. And every once in a while they'll share something that's really novel and you learn a lot from it, and there's good data. But a lot of times you look at it more, if I were to do like a sentiment analysis, they complain. They complain and they complain and they complain, and they end up stuck for years and years and years. They're just doing the same thing over and over and over. So they're stagnant, right? So my recommendation around that is, learn from the SEO industry, but understand that if you want to advance beyond that, your mindset matters a lot. So you want to be following the people. Your information diet should be coming from people that motivate you, that inspire you to be better. And unfortunately, for me at least, the SEO industry does not do that.
Yeah, number 15, right? Yeah, 15.
15, yeah.
So number 15, when you're doing SEO, what I want you to end up doing is focus on speed. I found that speed is a really easy lever that boosts your traffic, especially nowadays that everyone's using mobile devices. Speed wasn't as important 4 or 5 years from now or 4 or 5 years ago because everyone was on their desktop or laptop computers. But here's the thing, even with 5G out there, a lot of people don't have great reception in certain places, so they're not getting fast connections. Speed is super important. Remember, most of the people that search Google do it from mobile devices.
All right. What is this, number 16?
16, last one for this episode.
This is hard. So 16. All right. So number 16, don't worry so much about bounce rates. I used to worry about really high bounce rates, but think about it. Bounce rate is there's someone hitting your site and they're leaving. Sometimes if they get what they need, they're going to bounce and you have actually served the user there. So some people are like, oh my God, how high bounce rates affect SEO. That's not always necessarily the case, right? You got to think about kind of what Neil was saying earlier. If you think about the user or the customer, if you obsess over customer experience, you're going to be fine. Like the people that obsess over customer experience and delivering value instead of just SEO, they do a lot better. And Neil and I, at least for me, I'm speaking for you, Neil, I guess, we learned the hard way because in the very beginning, I learned to obsess over keywords, bounce rates, rankings, and all these things. And you realize that's not what matters. It's about serving people. Anyway, that is it for today. Go to marketingschool.io/live. That's LIVE to learn about the Growth Accelerator. That is our event, which has been switched to virtual for now, but go and apply. And if it's a good fit, Neil and I will give you a call, and we will see you tomorrow. All right. Ready? Now we can switch to 7, right? 7.
Now we switch to 7. Yeah, 7.
Right, cool. Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Su.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're going to do part 3 of 30 lessons after 30 million SEO visits. So we are on number 17 right now?
Yep.
Yeah.
So number 17, focus on branding. Google wants to rank sites that have a strong brand because they're less likely to create fake news or bullshit content. And what I mean by branding is the more people that are Googling your name, the higher you're going to end up ranking. Because look, everyone already does SEO. Everyone, or at least most big companies do it. Everyone's already doing link building. Again, at least the big companies are doing it. So if multiple sites are in the same industry like BMW and Mercedes, right, which go head to head for a lot of type of cars, if they both have millions of links, who should you rank higher? The one who has an extra 100,000? At that point, it doesn't really matter. But what you are looking for is things like branding. If 5 times more people are searching Mercedes and BMW, it would tell Google that people prefer Mercedes. Branding is that important.
All right. Number 18.
Yeah.
Number 18. Look at your competition. Your competition teaches you good lessons. Don't obsess over them, but looking at your competition can give you ideas, and ideas go a long way. So I like using, believe it or not, I like using Alexa's SEO tool for this. Alexa does a good job of, their similar websites tool does a good job of, there's like a net that you can see of similar websites, and they show the Alexa score as well. So sites that are very similar to you, there'll be like a net of like 5 and you can expand it. It's like a spider web almost. But I like looking at competition to draw ideas from every now and then. And what I will like to do is I'll look at the idea and I'll modify it a little bit. And so it becomes my original idea. That's where good ideas come from.
Number 19, don't be afraid to have duplicate content. What I mean by this is people always say, oh, duplicate content's not good. Well, Google doesn't penalize for it. This doesn't mean that you should take other people's content and just slap it on your site. What I mean by don't be afraid of duplicate content is after you publish a blog post on your site, why not repurpose it on LinkedIn, Facebook, push the content out there, because extra traffic and extra brand awareness is better than nothing.
All right, number 20. Number 20. Similarly, think about how you can create power pages on your website. And this is a concept created by Brian Dean, also known as Backlinko. And the whole idea with a power page is you have, imagine you have one introduction or overview at the top of the page, and it's a long page with just a bunch of content. And you can have links that will scroll you to different sections. Almost imagine like little chapters that you have for a long page. And that's a power page. What tends to happen there is, let's say I'm writing about conversion rate optimization. And it's almost like a complete guide. Sure, you can split it up into different pages and just have like a table of contents at the top. That's like a pillar page, but a power page is you have a lot of content on there, and that ranks well because you have a lot of long tail traffic on that page. So if you want to write something that's more comprehensive, consider doing that type of setup instead of having a bunch of different pages that are split up.
Number 21. We talked about how, when you're creating content, you want to create amazing content. You want to create long content. You want to keep updating your old content. But one thing that people forget to do with their content, and this is a huge important lesson that many of us struggle with, is interlinking. If you're not interlinking your content together, you're not going to do as well. A lot of people will take their new content and link to their older pieces, but what they're not doing is taking their older pieces of content and then linking to the newer ones. So you need to do it both ways, not just with your newer content, but you also want to go back to your older content and adjust the links and push more links out to the new content as well.
All right. Number 22. If you think about doing SEO, you can't really do it alone. It's a team sport. So think about who you need. You need content writers. You probably need developers to get things done quickly on your site. You are going to need perhaps designers. And if it's a really big website, we're talking, you're getting millions and millions of visits a month, you might need product managers as well. So when you think about it, it's not really just about you. You got to think about how much help you can get to grow faster. And that's going to allow you to scale your traffic a lot faster.
Number 23, right? Is it 23?
23 is the last one, yeah.
Number 23. So you guys are all going out there doing SEO, spending a lot of time, and you're familiar with a lot of the strategies, and some of them are old, like AMP framework. The AMP framework, in theory, makes your pages load faster for mobile. What you'll find is in the United States and other major English-speaking countries, having AMP pages doesn't really give you a big boost in traffic, if any. But the moment you create AMP pages for regions like Brazil, India, where their infrastructure may not be as strong as ours, we found that you can roughly get 10 to 15% increase in traffic from those regions.
All right. So that is it for today. We got one more of these episodes coming. Hope you enjoyed this. By the way, type 1 into the chat if you like these long 30 episodes, like this, the pack, like the 4-part series. Let us know. Type 1 into chat. But that is it for today. Go to marketingschool.io/live. That's LIVE to learn about our live event that Neil and I do. It's cool. Smart people there. And fill out an application. If it looks good, then Neil and I will reach out to you. All right. See you later. All right, so let's answer some questions.
Cool. We got 3 upvotes on Jose's question. What's the best way to? Yeah, you want to bring him in?
Yeah, let's answer live on this one. Jose, we are bringing you live, so hope you're ready to come onto camera. And I have to make him a co-host, right? You can't do it, right, Noah?
I can't do it. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. All right. Jose.
If you make it Noah's Zoom, then he can in the future.
Jose.
He's muted. You got to unmute yourself, Jose.
All right, I'm muted.
Awesome.
How are you? Just waking up here.
We're doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Good, working from bed.
I love it.
So, Neil, I have this question. We have this podcast. It's in Spanish, but the problem is that it's not a niche podcast. It's about conversations and interviews. So we interview everything from like monks, like Buddhist monks, to reality stars. But everything it's based. The common denominator is that it's learning. It doesn't have all the drama, so it has a lot of. It's entertainment with knowledge. So it always leaves you something positive at the end, but it doesn't have a common denominator. Like everybody that we interview is different. So we interview authors, people from TV, people from beauty queens like Miss Universe. But that's the problem that we have. We can't find a specific niche market, and how do we promote that without running ads?
Yeah, so it doesn't matter if it's not in a niche. Good example of this is like Joe Rogan's podcast. He interviews a ton of different people. The easiest way you can end up promoting is because you're having so many guests on there. Every time you have a guest, ask them to share it on their social profiles, the interview once it goes live. And that can drive a lot of people. And if they have email lists, ask them to email it out as well.
Email it.
That's the simplest strategy. And Eric himself does a ton of interviews with guests. What are your strategies with guests promoting it other than having them share on their social profiles?
That's so far how they promote it. They just share it on their socials.
You already have them do that.
Yes, but only Instagram. So
no, you need to do all of them. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, have them share it on all of them because you'll get more traffic.
Yes, we're going to have to start building Twitter and all that because there's platforms that South America, Instagram, for example, is not as big as here, but Twitter and Facebook are.
Yes. And then at the same time, if some of these people are well-known, you can do video-based interviews like what we're doing right now too, and stream live on these social platforms and stream it to their channels as well and have them join live. And what you'll find is you'll get way more play from that as well.
So live stream it.
Yeah, but Eric, you do a ton of interviews. What are your strategies?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we've been doing. We've been live streaming them. We use restream.io, and it kicks over to YouTube. Right now we're on YouTube, LinkedIn, Periscope, and all the channels. And then at the same time, Neil, to your point, having them tweet it, or even having them tweet it when we're live, that's actually even more exposure. And then you can have them expose the actual podcast when it comes out too. So yeah, you're trying to get the most bang for your buck of the time spent there.
So how do you simulcast on different? Because I tried Caster. Is it any other way that you can
use Restream? We use restream.io.
Restream.io. That's okay. Perfect. We're
cool.
gonna try it. I'm gonna try it this Saturday. Thank you.
Thanks, Jose. All right.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Let's do one more. Let's do.
Did you want to bring in Lauren?
Let's see which. Let's get
Facebook
Lauren in.
Group.
Let's get Lauren in. Let's get Lauren in.
Okay, Lauren, we're promoting you to a panelist.
I've been watching these mukbang videos, and then I really want to eat Shake Shack, but that's besides the point. Anyway, Lauren, I'm going to make you a co-host, and you can share your screen now or your video if you want.
Okay, here we go. Hold on.
Here we
Got
go.
it? Yay.
No.
No. Okay.
You are a co-host.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. How's it going?
Hey, it's going. Thanks.
Thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure, you guys. All right. So y'all, do you want me to kind of verbalize my question?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah. So I have a lot of experience with both HR, 25 years, job search, sales. And so when this whole COVID 36 million unemployed thing started, I thought, you know what? I have too much experience not to bring it all together because it's like, I know this stuff cold. So my goal is, and I listened to Gary Vee, and his thing is start a Facebook group. And so I thought, you know what, for something like this, it seems to make a lot of sense. So my focus is people, let's say over 40, 45-ish, 50, because I have experienced ageism. It's real in our society. It is what it is. We need to adapt, right? And so my goal is to start a community that supports, assists each other in finding a job when they have more than 20 years of experience, because a lot of people in that demo have no idea how to do that, maintain or develop a relevance, right, with whomever they're looking at joining. Let's say it's a tech company, right? So that demo is definitely millennial. So just how to adapt to this new situation that there may not be awareness of. Yep. And so I have the tools. So it's like, I know there are a ton of people in this demo, especially with this unemployment situation. So my goal is, what are some ideas to amplify this? I've been doing a ton of one-on-one touch, as Gary Vee suggests, but I thought you guys know about amplification. So I am all ears.
So first off, I love the idea, and that's why I have such a big smile or grin.
Oh, cool.
Because there's so many people that are just going to struggle on this time, sadly. But I think this would be really helpful to them.
And can I just say, one other point is why I know this to be true is, as awesome as I am, I know tech, right? I've worked for Microsoft. The last time around last year, I cannot even tell you, because of my HR background, I know this. Thousands of jobs I've posted for, I counted 65 phone screens with recruiters, meaning 65 different companies. And so I understand this sales thing, and it's about volume, right? But people are not aware of that. So thank you, Neil. I agree too.
So is the plan, I mean, talking about amplification, because a lot of these Facebook groups just start growing. I honestly, when you have a good title around something like this, it just grows. I don't know if there's anything else to say.
Well, it's more so, why not do things within the Facebook group where if they invite like certain people, like if they invite 5 people, they can unlock some training courses or additional material. So that way it can start amplifying really fast.
Does a good job. Asian Hustle Network. They actually do a good job with the content, and they have like, I think they have upgrades that you can that basically, kind of to Neil's point, if you do this, if you take 5 actions here, you get this, and then it just gets bigger and bigger. And they have
the other idea I've had is, until there is enough volume, if you join, they can have a personal session with me, right? For their job search strategy, or whatever is needed, because I'm able to do that. So I'm glad you're saying this, because it seems like that's a good idea.
Yeah, I would recommend here. I'm going to share this with everyone, but there's this document around second order consequences. But go ahead, Neil. I'm going to share it with everyone in here.
Do you know simple tools where she can amplify it by making people take actions, right? Like the referral based system where you take actions and then you get it. Because the same thing with engagement, because like on Facebook, the more people that comment, the more viral things go, the more it shows it to everyone else in the group. Now telling them to explicitly comment, Facebook doesn't like that, but I'm trying to think of tools or things that she can use to help simplify the process for her.
It's funny because I Googled it because I don't know of a good tool. And then I Googled Facebook group grow tool, and then Single Grain ranks #1. I think you're like #3. And we don't know.
Oh, you know more than others then, right?
No, I think if the offer itself, the idea, which in this case is the offer, if it's good enough, it's going to grow. And I think there's so many people stressing out over this right now. So why not have it be you? So I'm going to share the resource that I'm talking about. It really does talk about the opportunity with people losing their jobs right now. And it talks about the business opportunity too. So I'll drop that into chat.
Awesome. And thank you again. I'm so glad you think it's a good idea. There's nothing out there as far as I know for this. That's personal. So awesome job, guys. And thank you. And by the way, I want to share a cool resource for you. Are you aware of Rand Fishkin and his new business, Spark Toro?
We are. We actually filmed an episode about it. I don't know when, but
just wanted to check because, it's live now and it's awesome.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on.
Let's do that. And then let's go back. Let's record a couple episodes.
Sounds good. Let's record some episodes.
All right, here we go.
All right.
We finished the SEO ones, right? That's 1, 2.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Su.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're going to talk about how often you should go with your gut feeling. So your gut feeling is like how you feel initially about something. And sometimes you don't take action. Sometimes you do take action. So I actually did a Twitter poll yesterday.
No. Dude, we did the wrong one. We forgot to finish part 4.
I thought we did part 4.
No, we didn't do part 4.
Well, it's okay. We can do the gut feeling and we can come back to the 30 lessons. I'll just retitle it. It's okay. We're on the gut feeling. So, okay. Anyway, when I did the poll on Twitter, I said, hey, how often do you go with your gut feeling and how often are you actually right? 80% of people said they're usually right. And then when I did it on Facebook, similar thing, people said 80-20 as well. So the question I guess I have for you, Neil, we'll pose it to you first. Maybe you can share some stories and some experiences, but how often do you go with your gut feeling and how often is that usually right?
So I'm very data driven. I probably go with my gut feeling once. Actually, I probably go with my gut feeling majority of the time when I
For
have it.
sure.
Because even
Yeah.
though I'm using data, my gut, I go with my gut feeling, then I go look for data that backs up my gut feeling. And most of the time I can actually back up my gut feeling with data and I just go for it. And even when I can't, as long as it's not too big of a risk, I still go with it. And it's usually right. But here's what's interesting is when I first started out in marketing and entrepreneurship, my gut feeling was almost always wrong.
How
So I
so?
would, because it would just, I didn't have the experience. So I was making bad calls. Like I was like, oh, let me go create a cloud computing company and put it in someone's house instead of using a co-location.
Pay for their rent too.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like a lot of stupid stuff like that. But, being an entrepreneur for 16, 17 plus years, eventually you end up learning what works, what doesn't. So your gut feeling kind of gets refined over time. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
No, exactly. Actually, a guy said that yesterday. It's almost, it aligns over time. It's the experience that you have, especially given the context that you're in. So if you're in marketing, especially there, or if you understand software a lot, your gut feeling is going to align more with your experience, and then you're going to actually be more right often than not. And so what I've actually learned is, I was thinking about this with people decisions. Every time I've had a gut feeling, I've been right 100% of the time. And my mistake has always been, Neil's seen this, I take too long to cut people.
Yeah, but
And
what's funny is,
yeah, yeah,
because we're talking like this person's not going to work out, and it'll be
yep,
like week one, and I'm
yeah.
like, all right, but then they'll be around for 3+ months.
Sometimes they stay for a year and a half, which is like completely on me, right? So I guess this question I was posing because I was like, guys, I mean, I think the majority of the time, especially if the more experience you have, your gut feeling is probably going to be right. So you should probably follow it more often than not, probably 4 out of 5 times. But that's one person's opinion, and this is a very subjective episode.
Yeah, but yeah, in general, if you're just starting off and you have gut feelings about business, entrepreneurship, marketing, try to find data that backs up what you want to end up doing. Really look for the data. As you've been doing it for many years, and then you start getting more and more success, think of your gut feeling, and what you'll see is it'll align more, in which the feelings you'll have will tend to be more right from the get-go.
And the final thing I'll add to this, I think those of you that are working with companies and there's other stakeholders involved, if you're trying to get something going, you are gonna, kind of to Neil's point, you are gonna have to pull some data and say, based on this data, based on behaviors that we've seen, I feel this way. That's your gut, and then you're like, I think we need to do this. If we do not do this, I think we're gonna face these consequences. So that way, you have something that's well thought out. And Amazon does this. If you just Google Amazon memos, Jeff Bezos forces everyone to write a well thought out memo. It usually takes them a week to write a really good memo, but it's literally, you have to write a press release first, and then you talk about what you want to do, what resources you need. You spend some time debating over it, and then that way you are coming to this well articulated, well thought out, and then you're able to get things done. That's how you push things to move forward. Now, if you're in a fortunate position where you own the business or you have a say where you can just get things moving, then do that. So Neil, anything else?
Nope, that's it for mine.
All right, marketingschool.io/live. That's LIVE. Fill out an application for the Growth Accelerator. It is now virtual for right now, and you will get a call from Neil and I if it looks like it is a good fit. All right, see you tomorrow. All right, so now we can do the episode. Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Sue.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're going to talk about this is part 4, 30 lessons after 30 million SEO visits. So are we starting on number
24, all you.
24? I guess I'm going first. All right. 24. The riches are in the niches. So if you try to make a news website, or if you try to be everything to everyone, you're going to have a harder time making things happen, especially if you're starting out in the beginning. I used to think, oh my God, all these news websites, they get all the traffic. I should make a news website. But think about it. What resources do you need to make a news website happen? If you're small, it's better for you to think about what are you actually good at and just focus on that. Google likes focus. Search engines like focus. When you go to my blog or you go to Neil's blog, it's focused on marketing. This podcast is focused on marketing. So niche sites are where you are going to find the riches.
Number 25, an easy way to generate more ROI from your SEO is remarket all those people and push ads to them, whether it's through Facebook, YouTube, Google. What you'll find is you'll get way cheaper clicks and a lot of them will convert, because remember how you're limited on what you can do to your SEO landing pages to maximize your revenue and conversions, unlike pay-per-click. Pay-per-click is also expensive, but doing remarketing ads, there's a lot of remnant inventory and you can make it quite affordable.
Was that 24? That was 24,
You
right?
did 24. I did
I did-
25. You're on
Oh, got
26.
it. Wait, I'm on what now? 26, right?
Mm-hmm.
God, it's so confusing. Okay, 26 translations. Actually, no, Google, you've actually talked about translations, huh?
I already talked about translations.
Okay, we'll do 26 is think about how you can make the most of your titles and your meta descriptions. So what you can do is you can go to Google Search Console, look at the pages that have a high impression count but a low click-through rate, write a better title, write a better meta description. You can do that with Google for free, or we have a tool called ClickFlow that allows you to do that.
Number 27. If you're trying to figure out what pages to update, I know I've already talked about you need to update content, spend more time on it. But a lot of people, they're like, where should we spend our time on content when it comes to SEO? ClickFlow has a content decay tool. Check it out. The ones that are decaying the fastest are the ones that you need to spend the majority of your time in improving first.
28?
Yeah.
All right, 28. FAQ schema. So as the search engine result pages, the SERPs continue to change, you have to think about how you can find more opportunities to entice people to click through to your website. So FAQ schema allows you to add specific points or questions to your search result snippet, or just your search result. You can add the snippet on top or on the bottom of it, but you have more real estate there. You're going to get more clicks. So just Google it, FAQ schema.
Number 29, Google isn't the only search engine. Bing SEO, you can actually get a lot of traffic from Bing. You can get a lot of traffic from Baidu, assuming you want to go into China. You get a lot of traffic from Yandex. Another place that is really popular that most people ignore when it comes to SEO is video SEO, and going after YouTube drives a ton of views. Right now, I think in the last 30 days on YouTube, I think we average around 1.2, 1.3 million views. Most of it came from YouTube SEO.
All right, number 30, last but not least. You can do a lot with head tail keywords, but typically they're more competitive. So a head tail keyword might just be like digital marketing, or you can go for something different, such as digital marketing lessons, which is probably still competitive, but you're adding more long tail. You're adding more to the tail, right? But the more long tail the keyword is, the more you're going to be able to achieve, because it's less competitive, and you are going to be able to, especially if it's very specific. In many cases, it might be higher converting for yourself if it's bottom of the funnel. But don't just focus on head terms. That's my point. Think about how you can occupy positions around long tail keywords. And once you start to do really well with long tail keywords, then you can start to rank for the head tail keywords. But I would want to say the caveat here is you don't want to think about keywords and rankings too much. It's one piece of it. Think about, again, the customer experience. All right. So that is it for today. Go to marketingschool.io/live. That's LIVE to learn about the Growth Accelerator. That is our live event. And if it looks like it's a good fit, Neil and I will reach out to you. Going to be a good time. And that is it for today. And we will see you tomorrow. All right, question time. Noah, do you want to bring it in? And then maybe it can be some text questions this time. And then I'm gonna go on a break. I'll be right back.
Cool. All right. Neil, we've got one for you here. This is from Explorotera on YouTube. He says, Neil, would love to hear your opinion on COVID-19 content marketing tips from super generic experts. Do they work?
Ooh. COVID-19 marketing techniques, like just doing content marketing with super generic experts. Is that what he's asking?
I think he's saying, how do you filter out the good advice from the not so smart advice?
look at people's credentials. Look at social shares, people's credentials, comments, engagements. Google has this whole thing on EAT. They want more expertise, more authority. So whatever you're creating content on, try to get amazing experts. I'm not just talking about a random person who says like, I know this subject, but like actually get industry experts. It's more heavily in areas like medical where it really matters, especially with things like COVID-19. You don't want a lot of false information out there, but experts really do go a long way, and it makes your content that much more better and credible. Now, I wouldn't just let the experts publish whatever they want. A lot of them are shitty writers. So then what I would do is I would go and have an editor review and make it better, and just double check with the expert before it gets published.
Amazing. And I think more in switching to like lead generation, Coding Mania from YouTube asks, how do you get more leads for B2B SaaS software? They're targeting e-commerce companies.
Cool. So whatever you offer for e-commerce, let's say it's a more efficient checkout. I'm making this up. Let's say like Bolt. You would then blog about improving conversion rates, improving checkouts, all this kind of stuff, and give a ton of tips. And then what you want to do is do lead capturing at the end. And what I mean by that is pop-ups, sidebar banner ads that drive them to lead pages, have links in your navigation that gets them to sign up or demo requests, blend in your own product and talk about how people can do it in automated ways, collect an email list, email out to them to join webinars. Your webinar could be about your product or your service and helping them solve problems as well. But that's how you start converting those people as well as getting leads and traffic.
Powerful. We got a couple from the chat in here, the Q&A in here. Eric Schwartzman is asking, when you update old blog posts, do you republish with the new dateline or keep the old dateline? And is it okay to improve the URL if you have a redirect?
I don't think we put dates. Neil, you put dates? Yeah, we don't put dates. Yeah. But reasoning for that is because the theory is you put dates, it makes it easier for Google to kind of mark things as outdated, and then you lose the traffic on it because it doesn't rank as high anymore. So.
All right. And Sandeep is launching a health and wellness marketplace. What's the best platform to launch it?
Health and wealth. Wait, a health what marketplace? A health marketplace?
And wellness, health and wellness.
Health and wellness marketplace. So there's a lot of marketplace. I don't know if you're asking about marketplace software, but if you are, I would just recommend going to G2 or Capterra to find this marketplace software. But here's the problem with the marketplaces. You have a chicken and egg problem, so you have to grow both sides. I would recommend, there's a good piece from Andreessen Horowitz. Just go to A16Z, so A to number 16Z.com, and then type in marketplace growth, and then they have an entire guide on how to do that. Because Neil and I, correct me if I'm wrong, Neil, neither of us have really built marketplaces.
That's correct.
Cool. Radhika has a couple questions here.
Yes.
I think the easier one here is, we're considering moving to SharpSpring.
Let's get Radhika in here.
Okay, let's get the Radhika in
Radhika's
here.
in the growth accelerator. So
Radhika.
Analyst. Does it kick him out?
She's in the panelist now.
There we go.
Hi,
Hey,
guys.
Radhika. How's it going?
Good. So I had a specific question because I'm dealing with this this week with one of our companies, and let me just see if I can find it. Where's my question? Oh, I don't see it anymore. Okay. It's about our tech stack, I guess, for our healthcare software company. And we're looking to, right now we use Visual Visitor to track incoming leads and to see like which companies are visiting our site. And then our research team goes and like looks for, the people who are relevant in that organization, who our healthcare software would be, like they would be interested in our healthcare software. So it's a very manual process right now. This data is getting enriched and then it's getting imported into ActiveCampaign to get through some workflow. So I'm trying to fix that problem because I feel like it's just not positioned for scaling. So I'm looking for a tool that, like I know SharpSpring has like a visitor feed integrated in their platform, but I kind of want to stay in ActiveCampaign right now because we're still like in that mode of like, pushing, it's like pushing a mountain with these companies. this particular company, we finally have 2 very senior marketing people. So they're ready to like, do more. So I just want to get kind of more intelligence on the people coming into the site. So I wanted to know what you recommend. Like we have
Or
access
intelligence on people coming in. Are
like
you looking
their
to
email
enrich them?
address,
Okay.
one thing without them opting in, right? They're not opting in. So how do we get their contact details, I guess?
Yeah,
They're
you want to
not-
go first, then I can go over our stack.
Go for it. You go first.
Okay.
You're better
Yeah.
at this than I am.
So for us, by the way, we did a podcast interview on leveling up with the Sharp Spring CEO a couple weeks ago. I know their software is specifically geared towards agencies, so that's probably not the right tool. But I can speak to our stack and I can make some intros, probably get you a discount if you want to do it, not affiliated. But for Single Grain, what we do, and this is how we got our podcast deal, for people that are hitting our website, we use a customer data platform. That's what you're looking for. So you can use Lytics, that's Lytics. So lytics.com, or you can use hull.io, like a boat, hull.io. And so for us, when someone hits our website, we will use Clearbit to enrich the IP address. And then if we have like 2 people or 3 people from a very big company come, we're automatically going to find 4 people from their marketing team. So you can't specifically say, oh, I'm going to uncover their email address without them opting in. But what you can, the next best thing you can do is you can enrich their IP addresses. Now, the question right now is everyone's working from home. Are you able to do that? That part's debatable. But anyway, using our stack, we were able to plug it in with our sales enablement tool, hook it in with HubSpot, our CRM, and then it automatically reached out to someone that was interested in talking to us, and it got the deal done for Marketing School, the podcast advertisement. So I know I just gave you a bunch. Let me know if you have questions on it, because I'm happy to clarify.
So you use Clearbit and Hull, both of them.
So what Hull is your single source of truth. So it's your customer data platform. So it plugs everything together. So imagine you have HubSpot over here. You have
and then Salesforce we have as well. Like
HubSpot, Salesforce. You have all this other like Clearbit. It all plugs into Hull, and then Hull is the thing that connects everything together, and you get a timeline of how that user behaved on your website, what they're interested in, and what pages they visited, and all this other information that Clearbit will reveal for you.
Okay. Because HubSpot does the same thing too, right? Like, but at the
No,
they're
HubSpot-
supposed to, but they only do it within their own product and their own ecosystem. So
Yeah.
if you can track them when they first come on your website, what content they read, because HubSpot will give you a JavaScript, and then they'll even show you they put in the lead information here, and these are the when they came back. But it's only tied to stuff that's on their platform. It's hard. Like if someone goes to your web app, or they go to from their mobile device, or whatever it may be, it doesn't seamlessly tie everything into one customer.
Okay.
Yeah, let me give you an example, Radhika. So this is here. I'll share my screen real quick. This is someone that just opted in recently, but there's not much information on this person. But you can see there's a timeline over here. So I have information from. It'll show what source, Clearbit, Hull, and then it'll show these different attributes. And then I can see what tags they're on for Drip, which is our email service provider, when it was created, and all this other stuff. But imagine if all this was filled in, and I'll get you a better example in a second. You have a lot more power to be able to figure out what you want to do with this person next. So it's not answering your question directly, but my sense is you probably want something like this.
Well, so Clearbit will actually get you the email address. Like I don't have to have 5 people in India doing this work for me.
Yes.
Like I could, that's what I'm trying to get rid of.
And they'll do it all automated.
Right. I want it automated.
Yeah. I don't know if this Clearbit doesn't give you the email. Clearbit gives you when you put in an email, gives you the rest of their information.
Clearbit will get the email as well. And then we have this hooked in with our sales enablement tool, and then the outreach will happen there. And then based on the data that we see, in our outreach, it's much more personalized, because we're saying, oh, we're noticing that you're interested in this or whatever. There's like 2 sentences or a couple of numbers that it's clear that we looked at their website. So that increases the response rate.
There you go. You can use Clearbit to get all the information you need, so you don't have to pay people in India.
Yeah. I'm trying to. Well, it's just also, it's like just the integrity of the data is a problem as well.
And this is more efficient. What you can end up doing is you can use Clearbit first, and then you can pay people in India to double check the data.
Right.
And the quality.
Well, I can have them do they're our employees, so I can have them do better work.
Here's a better example right here. This guy, I hope this guy doesn't beat me up or whatever. But anyway, you can see like what's going on. You can see HubSpot is in here, Intercom is in here, what he was visiting. He apparently he booked a call for ClickFlow. Here's all the segments he's tied to, first session, all this data. And so now you have a lot more to work with. That's the point.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for showing that to me. That helps. Thanks.
Cool. All right. So I guess thank you, Radhika. We'll bring you back later if you have more questions.
Should we go next topic?
How many questions did we do? 2, 3? Next topic. All right,
I
here we
have
go.
no idea, but we have, I don't know how many episodes we'll get done today, but
Oh, we're good. We'll do like 3 more and then more questions, and then we'll do 2 more and then more questions, and then we're done. Ready?
cool. Let's do it.
Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Su,
And I'm Neil Patel.
and today we're going to talk about how marketers have adapted their business model to the new norm. So what does the new norm mean exactly, Neil?
So new norm is social distancing, wearing masks when you go outside and walk, restaurants that are open, people see far apart. And a lot of people these days are buying online. As Shopify ended up stating, every day has been like Black Friday. Now that still may not be that way today, but still their numbers are just through the roof. So online transactions have increased drastically. Now, keep in mind that doesn't mean in total people are still spending the same amount of money. It's a lot of the money that would have been spent offline is now going online.
Yep. So you stare ahead to the side, so I can't tell if you're like ready for me or not. But anyway, so the new norm, I mean, also is consumer behavior has changed basically. Some people that were willing to pay you a lot more in the past are not willing to pay that anymore because people aren't sure. All the stimulus is happening right now, but people aren't really able to do anything. They're not buying, so there's no behavior on the streets. So you got to take that into consideration. So I'll give you an example right here. Pep from Conversion XL, also known as CXL, he sells courses. He has a conversion agency, but he also sells digital marketing courses. And for him, basically, I know his pricing model used to be, hey, you know what? You're gonna pay us like $500 for a course, so you can pay us a couple $1,000s. That's his business model. After COVID happened, he from what I've seen so far, he added a free trial. So you pay $1 for a 7-day trial, and then you pay the $500. Or maybe there's a payment plan tied to it. But he adapted his business model, just made a couple of tweaks. And he said the month after COVID hit, the first full month, he had his best month ever. But first, he was really worried. He thought business was going to tank. But that's adapting your business model to the new norm. And also kind of doubling down on the education piece and understanding that maybe the services side of things is not going to go as well.
Yeah, you just have to be willing to try new things, experiment, and get out of what everyone tells you is the norm and how you're supposed to do your marketing, because what used to work won't always work anymore. Like the free trials, that kind of stuff works really well. The key now that I've seen is how can you get people to try whatever you're selling with the least amount of commitment on their end? And then if they like it, spend more. So think of the freemium concept with SaaS and subscriptions, and how can you deploy it into your business. And the reason that's important is because budgets have tightened up. It doesn't matter if you're Google, right? Google, I believe, put a hiring freeze, or you're a small business. There's a lot of people who are struggling right now. So you want to give them a taste before they have to swipe out their card and pay the full amount or even buy anything. That alone should increase your conversion. Sam Evans does something similar. I do it with freemium. Eric's done things where he's given away free stuff like the content decay tool. So letting people try things out. If you're in e-commerce, a good example of this is AuraBrush. I don't know if they're still around. I know they got bought out, but what they used to do is free tongue cleaner and toothbrush, just pay for shipping. And the shipping would cover their costs. And then from there, they would upsell you into many different products and services. And that got people hooked into their ecosystem.
Yeah, I think, by the way, I really recommend, I shared this with, we're on this webinar right now as well. But if you Google coronavirus second order effects, Emerson Spartz, if you just Google it, so Emerson is spelled Emerson, Spartz, Spartz. Coronavirus second order effects, Emerson Spartz, you're going to understand what's actually going on right now, because it does show, okay, physical health industry has been affected. Okay, what's an example? Okay, exercise. Well, you can't go to the gym now anymore, but well, what's going to happen to that because of that? Well, there's going to be innovation in the home exercise industry. So, Peloton, their shares are just continuing to go up. Every other day, I see a Facebook friend adding a Peloton bike. Virtual coaching as well, instead of having a trainer. Events being switched to virtual right now as well. This sounds sad. I'm looking at the screen right now. Funerals. Someone said something about virtual funerals. I don't know about that, but that's, people are saying that's an opportunity. But virtual dog training. There's just a lot of stuff that's going on right now. So you got to think about how you can flip things, because I know typically when an adjustment happens or a correction happens, and in this case probably going to be a depression type of scenario, and knock on wood, but the people that adapt are the ones that are going to come out of this much stronger. The people that hold on, that cannot adapt, those are the ones that are going to go down. So you have to be, really recommend reading the book Anti-Fragile, but you got to be anti-fragile in a situation like this.
That's it from my end.
All right. So that is it for today. Go to marketingschool.io/live. That's LIVE to learn about our event, which is now a virtual event, which is what we talked about. But that is it for today. By the way, go apply. And if it makes sense, Neil and I will call you. That's it for today, and we'll see you tomorrow. Did you get crisp.ai yet?
No.
But your baby's not crying, so it's okay.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. It actually doesn't matter if I clap, because you can't even hear it. It doesn't even matter. Okay. All right, here we go. Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Su.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're going to talk about 3 actionable lessons every marketer can learn from Tim Ferriss. You want me to go first, or you want to go?
Go for it.
All right. So with Tim Ferriss, the key thing about him is that he calls himself the human guinea pig, which means he likes to experiment. So people, we talked about in the last episode, you have to be willing to adapt to the new norms, but you have to be willing to experiment. So Tim Ferriss tries a lot of different things. He wrote a book called The 4-Hour Workweek, and that was his canvas for building his muse. And that's how he built his brand name, really. But he continued to adapt. He continued to evolve. And he wrote The 4-Hour Chef, which is really teaching people how to learn. It's not really so much about just cooking, but it's how to learn. And he just keeps going. He keeps trying to get better and better. He even came out with a show on Apple that was released, and it was actually pretty good, where he was trying to learn a new skill in 4 hours. And so he just keeps trying new things. And because he's out there, he's putting himself out there, he's collecting data. People love following him because he's original, and that's allowed him to get a lot of deal flow because he's built up his brand from experimenting. So first he experiments, and then second, he's built up a brand being consistent.
All right. So number 2, another actionable lesson from Tim is use data in everything. Tim doesn't make claims. He shows you data and proof that something will work, how, why. He uses scientific data to back up everything, or research. When you're creating content, when you're doing your own marketing, if you use data, you're much more likely to get backlinks. You're much more likely to get social shares. You're much more likely to be seen as an expert, right? When it comes to Google's algorithm, expertise, authority, trustworthiness. Use data. People take it for granted, but data is very powerful. And we see when we end up creating content that has data, it does substantially better than when it doesn't. For example, a lot of my posts that have data and unique graphs easily are able to pull in 100+ backlinks naturally. Keep in mind, I already have a big audience, but when I don't, we're finding a lot of my blog posts are hit or miss, where they only may produce 5 backlinks, 10 backlinks, some 15, 20, some even more than 100, but it's more all over the board. While when we use data, it's much more likely to be a hit.
All right. The third and final point is that Tim is an obsessive learner. So what do I mean by that? It means just because you get to a certain level of success does not mean you start learning. We see a lot of people that become successful and then they let that get to them, and then they kind of stop learning, and their ego kind of takes over. So, if you think about the Warren Buffetts of the world, the Mark Cubans of the world, they spend hours and hours a day reading, learning. Now with Tim, he spends a lot of time reading as well. talk about stoicism. He reads a lot of different books, but he also brings a lot of different perspectives onto his podcast because he wants to learn from all over the world. He wants to understand how people think. He wants to understand the habits, the routines of other people. He wants to be able to dissect that wisdom and distill it not only for himself, but for the entire world. So if you can continue to be an obsessive learner and know that whatever you know really doesn't mean that much in the grand scheme of things, and know that, you know, you're a perpetual newbie, then you're going to be ahead of everyone else. So that is it for today. But before we go to marketingschool.io/live. That's LIVE. Learn about our Growth Accelerator event. And if it looks good, fill out an application, and Neil and I will give you a call if it looks like it's a good fit. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Some questions?
Let's do like two. Yeah.
2 questions?
Yeah. Who's got a killer question here?
Stefano's got a good sales question, I thought. Is it Stefano? Stefano, that's right. Stefano's got a good sales question.
All right, let's get Stefano in here.
All right. I think it's especially relevant with now. So Stefano is a panelist.
I will make him a co-host. There we go. You're muted. I'll unmute you. There you go.
There you go. Hey guys.
How's it going?
How's it going? So the question from me is regarding sales. Is there anything that you've seen that's worked in terms of getting someone to reconnect and like reinitiate that conversation with them that was interested, that perhaps now has gone cold for a little while? Have you seen anything that's worked better than other things? And this being for potential clients for our agency, for example, that really do have a problem in terms of like the rankings and their exposure. And we have reports like of their websites that we can actually show them to show these issues from whether it's just issues on the site, or it's actually been in some cases we're tracking the rankings over time. So we can show where they were, for example, let's say 6 months ago to how they declined to today. That's what got the conversation started. But then if they go cold, have you seen anything that has worked better than other things, whether it's something as simple as like a specific type of email subject to maybe doing a complete video presentation about them versus what our clients are experiencing during the same time? So is there something that you have seen that's been able to like spark them after they've gone cold for a little while?
Yeah. So, I mean, the way I like to look at it is I definitely recommend everyone watch this. The Glenn Ross, the AIDA, right? Attention. How do you get their attention, right? That's the thing that comes out here. Attention, interest, decision, action. So how I used to follow up with people. This is very ineffective. It's just following up here, just circling back. But that doesn't really grab their attention. There's nothing there, right? And I'll give you an example that Neil did a couple years back. There was this marquee investor, and then he had some allegations going on. And so Neil pinged him in relation to helping him with the issues he was facing from a PR perspective. And the guy instantly responded, right? And so that caught his attention because it was really relevant. So kind of to your point, Stefano, is thinking about, oh, okay, sometimes it might be leading with something that's relevant. Hey, I just spotted this thing, and this is actually really relevant for you because this, and you just keep it short, just circling back, and you just keep appearing. And you're like this thing that won't go away, and you keep appearing, and eventually it's gonna be like, oh, when they need you, it's gonna be like, oh, who do I need to go with? It's gonna be Stefano. And then the final thing I'll add before I turn it over to Neil is I really like using the 9-word email every 90 days, just basically circling back and being like, hey, look, are you still interested in buying a house in Los Angeles? Like, that's it. And so you can tailor it to the surgeons that you work with. So Neil?
One thing that I would do is when you send them an email, like let's say it's their rankings dropped and that's how you're getting them, I would try to include new data that you have. Like, oh, this algorithm change just happened. Our client saw this results. We noticed you had Y results. It's because you're not doing X, Y, Z thing. Do you want us to help you just do it for you? Then the other thing too is when you send that email, put a remarketing pixel in there and then show them ads all over the web. Or upload their email into, those sites where you can Google or YouTube or Facebook and remarket them, and then show them case studies within the ads that drive them back to the page, because it just helps keep you guys top of mind.
Gotcha. have you guys tried doing anything email, like text email versus actually sending a video breakdown?
So we've done videos, we've done PDFs. Out of everything, videos work better. And what also works really well is sending them a text message instead of just continually emailing them.
Okay. All right, cool. Thanks.
Well, I would prefer the text because it's more lower lift, but if you have some extra time, you know, you can go for the video. Sometimes though, it's depending on how busy the person is, the video might take, they might be like, oh, I don't want to watch a freaking video. Actually, I pissed someone off the other day because I use it's kind of similar experience. I did audio text and he's like, dude, don't ever send me an audio text again. And he's a good friend, but, and he sent me like his policy, like, don't send me a video, don't send me like audio. Sometimes people just want the basic stuff.
Gotcha. So would you do it if it was like a short, quick 1 minute, 2 minute video where you were able to get them enough information so that they could see what's going on?
Worth a test.
Okay.
It's going to be different for every person. When people send me videos, most of the times I just ignore it.
Okay.
Even actually, if they send me text too, I also usually ignore it as well. Sadly.
Okay.
Interesting. It's like if I show Neil a picture of my traffic, then it's interesting. He'll respond to it.
Yeah, I love visuals. Like it's a quick snapshot, 1 second. I'm like, oh, all right, let's talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, cool. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Stefano.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's crank out 3 more.
Cranking out 3 more, and then we'll leave like a minute or 2 for questions, and then I've got to freaking eat. I'm so hungry. All right. Here we go. Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Su.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're going to talk about how spending $1 billion with a B on marketing will not solve your problems.
So Eric, who spent $1 billion plus on marketing and advertising over the last 6 months?
Trump? No, not Trump. Who has spent $1 billion on advertising?
Close, not Trump. Who else?
Oh, Bloomberg.
Bloomberg, all those
Yeah.
TV ads, you know?
Yeah.
It didn't get him that far. It just cost him $1 billion or
Nope.
whatever it was. I think it was something ridiculous like that, right? I think it was $1 billion.
It was hundreds of millions. I think it was at least 500 million. So you could say $500 million.
All right, I'll change
yeah.
the title to $500 million.
Yeah. But anyway, the point is, you know, he came in campaigning, and here's why this is at least my thought on why the $1 billion or the $500 million didn't work that well, because the campaign was all over the place. And Neil and I were not political, but when you think about it, we go back to, by the way, we're not saying we support Trump, but Trump's message when he won in 2016 was very make America great again. Everyone can rally around that, right? And then when you think about Bloomberg's message, it was more so beat Trump. And it's just all about that's if that's the only message, it's not enough. And you can see that's why he wasn't able to move forward. It becomes tough when your marketing message is too muddled. That's the beginning of it.
And he also wasn't relating to the end user as well. Like I was seeing a lot of ads, how his mom raised him and how he became this multi-billionaire and super successful. I'm like, yes, I cannot relate to being a billionaire, you know, being super successful where my daughter has horses that are worth more than I am. You know what I mean? Like the amount of money he has is just crazy because he's one of the top 100 richest people in the world. Yeah. So when he's creating ads that aren't relatable, it's just like, all right, I don't know if I would vote for you just because I can't relate to your messaging. So not only do you have to have one cohesive message, but if people can't relate to you and the message you're trying to get across, especially if you're not the norm, being super rich or having some sort of privilege, I'm not saying he didn't earn it, right? He's self-made. But having something that other people will never really be able to relate to, it makes it really tough to win. And Trump does have money too, and in theory over $1 billion as well. But the way Trump was talking to people and his commercials was more relatable than, you know, raised by a single mother, got here, look at this big empire I built with all these thousands of employees. Like most people cannot relate to that.
I think on top of that too, if you think about the bigger you get, the more bloated you are, the less hungry you are in some sense, or the less attention to detail you pay attention that you see, right? So I'm looking at the ads right now on Facebook ad library, and I'll share my screen for those of you that are actually watching on video right now. But these are Bloomberg's ads, and let's see what's going on here. So To Trump, rising drug prices are just a joke. Okay, here, this is about Trump. More stuff about Trump right here. And it's just like another joke to Trump. It's like, but are we trying to solve, like, what's the main problem that we're trying to solve here? Is it just to beat this one guy, like to help you win? Like, what is it exactly? So it's muddled a little bit, but at the same time, when you look at this, you're kind of just throwing spaghetti against the wall because you have a lot of resources. And then that causes you to be, when you have a lot of resources, you can be lazy and not as hungry anymore. And you lose attention to detail and you let stuff like this slip through. Whoever was kind of managing the campaign should have backed up a second and been like, you know what? Maybe we should have a slogan that everyone can get behind and everyone can rally behind. And maybe he would have lasted longer. Maybe he might even won the nomination. So anyway, not a political guy, but I'll pass it to you.
There's another richer guy who's more rich than Bloomberg, Bezos, who always talks about you need to obsess about your customers, not your competition. And what Bloomberg did throughout his campaign is he obsessed about his competition, driving their name and talking about how he's different versus just going to the end consumer, us, everyone listening out there, and talking about what he's going to do, how he's going to make things great instead of just focusing on the existing person. Funny enough, a lot of politicians just focus on the competition instead of how they're going to be amazing or how they're going to help us and how they're going to bring change.
If you think about Amazon, it's the everything store. You think about SpaceX, it's, you know, getting to Mars, right? And then there's like a key mission there. So that's what it is. Anyway, so there you go. $500 million, not going to solve all your problems. You got to be smart about your marketing. You got to listen to Marketing School. So anyway, go to marketingschool.io/live. That's LIVE. You can fill out an application for the Growth Accelerator. That is our live event, which is right now, it's virtual. Fill it out, and if it looks like it's a good fit, Neil and I will give you a call, and we'll see you tomorrow. All right, 2 more. Ready?
Yep.
Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Su.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're going to talk about 7 ways to keep your marketing knowledge fresh. So I'll start with number 1. Number 1, believe it or not, I was reading this tweet the other day about how Twitter is probably the most important media company. I tend to agree with that. I think the most value I've gotten from a social network, including getting a job, by the way, is Twitter. As long as you know how to filter your information, I followed the best copywriters, the best marketers, the best VCs, the best SEOs, and they just share stuff. And what I do is I continually will save it to Pocket. Pocket is my read it later tool. And from there, I can just read on my mobile device or on my computer later. I save it for the evening. But you just got to make sure that whoever you're getting your information diet from is actually continuing to deliver on what they promised to.
Number 2, check out YouTube. A lot of marketers upload videos each and every single day and week talking about new marketing tactics that they're trying out, testing out. And you'll even find a lot of the webinars that they're doing are on YouTube. So that way you can fast forward and listen to them at whatever speed you want and get the latest and greatest. And you can quickly tell by the rating level, by the thumbs ups, thumbs down, how many people like it versus dislike it in the comments. So it'll quickly tell you if you should pay attention to it or you should avoid it.
All right, number 3, I've been subscribing to. I actually subscribe to a lot of paid newsletters. Do you, Neil?
Some, but not a ton.
Got it. So I'll just share a couple, and then maybe Neil, you can chime in as well. I am subscribed to The Hustle, the trends that they have. So they talk about business trends, and that's like $300 a year. Axios, I love because they have media trends in there, and then they just give you like a digest every morning, and that's free. I also pay for the information, so I learn a lot about tech in there. That's like, I don't know, 100 or $200 a year. We pay for Hot Pod News for the latest news on podcasts. That's like $80 a year. So this stuff starts to stack up, but make sure, again, Wall Street Journal, you and I pay for it too. And I get good marketing information from there as well. Go for it.
Yeah. I also pay for Economist, New York Times. So all the main news outlets I pay for. The other thing too, is there's industry specific events and which would be number 4? Number 4, which would be industry related events. Make sure you check them out. And when I mean industry related events, I know right now you can't go to a lot of events, but a lot of people are doing their events virtually. people present on the latest and greatest and new trends during these events. So that's one of the main reasons why I love conferences. The virtual side is a little bit harder because I don't know how people are going to do the networking, but a lot of the trends and the latest and greatest stuff that I've learned actually comes from the attendees and not necessarily the speakers.
Yeah, I mean that's a big piece of why events are amazing. But what is this number 5? Number 5 is go to marketingexamples.com. This guy is really good. He shares a ton of different examples on copywriting, how you should be doing things. And literally, the site is literally about marketing examples. Here, let me give you an example. I just said example like 5 times, but let me share my screen real quick. Those of you that can see this right now, look at this. 17 tips for great copywriting. It tells you to cut words over here, don't exaggerate. So it actually shows you as they're saying things, and it's just amazing to me. Instead of saying the world's first portable digital media player for the iPod, you say 1,000 songs in your pocket. So it's just really helpful to draw inspiration from things like this.
Number 6. So right now, there's a lot of podcasts out there that you could be listening to. And I love listening to them. And I'm not just talking about like the marketing schools. I'm more so talking about like the growth everywhere or Eric's leveling up. The reason being is you'll find your competition on a lot of these podcasts, and they're talking about the marketing trends and the tactics that they're doing and they're using that are working right now that's causing them to grow. Listen to those interviews, listen to those case studies, because some of them are in text-based like case studies, some of them are in podcast interviews. Look at them, constantly create alerts for them, so that way when they pop up, you can read them and you can see what's working for other players in your space.
All right, number 7, last but not least, I've been using Facebook more to join specific groups and learn from people and follow people. So I look at the stuff that they share. Sometimes they'll share their best stuff and I'll just save it to Pocket. But I'll give you an example. I follow a guy, his name is Chris Von Wilpert. He used to work at Sumo Group, and he's a great content marketer, and he shares great stuff. I follow Joe Irway, who spoke at our last Growth Accelerator, but he's really good at webinars. So I joined his Facebook group, and he talks about webinars. So I get good stuff from Twitter. I don't try to hang out on Facebook that much because people start to engage on crazy stuff, and it just becomes like, a little negative sometimes. But you can find some good stuff from there. So anyway, that is it for today. Go to marketingschool.io/live. That's LIVE to learn about our Growth Accelerator event, which is now virtual for the time being. Fill in the application. If it looks good, Neil and I will reach out to you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Last but not least, and then some questions. Ready?
Yep.
Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Su.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're going to talk about if you should accept guest blogger. So Neil, you used to do it, not so much anymore. I don't think we really do it anymore. So what's your take on it now, before and now?
Before, if you want to scale up content really fast and affordably, I think guest bloggers are easy, great way to do it. Even right now, I think you should do it assuming you can get the right ones and experts. If you're just trying to get random guest bloggers so you can create content, I would say no. In general, I would avoid it now more than I did in the past. And the reason being is people are just guest posting to produce links instead of quality content. But if you can get guest posters producing amazing content and they're expert in their field, why not?
Yeah, I think the key thing to Neil's point is having a very specific criteria that they need to follow. It can't be a free for all. They can't just decide to write, I'm going to write a 500-word post. I'm going to try to insert a bunch of links to I'm going to try to sell these links, which they do. So you're going to have very specific criteria. Okay, for example, we want each post to be 1,500 words. You have to have a title that's research. Every single claim that you have, it needs to link to the source or whatever claim that you're making. And you're just being very specific with it. And you can only have one link. And maybe the links in the author byline. So you're setting the roles of engagement ahead of time, so expectations are clear. And yeah, it can definitely help you scale. I don't think we do as much of it anymore because what we found was that we had to spend more time kind of policing it. And so we might bring it back later, we might not, but that's where we are with it.
Yeah. And look, if you are strapped for money too, that's why we also started doing it, because it's the cheap way to grow your traffic. You can use it if you have no choice at the beginning, but eventually you want to taper off of it, hire your own writers, your own staff, and then just it'll help you crank out more quality content when you have that editorial process in place and people are working for you full time. If you look at Entrepreneur, Huffington Post, and all these sites, they used to accept way more guest bloggers than they do now because the content quality is shitty. And Google's algorithm in the past used to be the more content you crank out in general, the better off you do. Now they don't want you to crank out 10 articles on the same exact topic over and over again. They rather have you update the old piece and make it more relevant and fresh. Hence, sites like Wikipedia still do extremely well when it comes to rankings. So if you're going to accept it, like Eric mentioned, have really strict rules in place, and also don't let people just regurgitate the same old content over and over again.
All right. Last thing I'll add around this is in some cases, you can do the pre-work ahead of these guest bloggers. Say, hey, you can write on my blog. I know you're looking for a link and I know you're looking for some awareness as well, but these are the topics we're looking to cover. So you've done the keyword research ahead of time and they write based on that and they follow your criteria. It's a lot more stringent for them, but you kind of get the best of both worlds. And by the way, if they do a really good job, some of these guest bloggers, I would say probably 5% of them actually turn out to be people that you can hire for the longer term. So it's actually good for yourself as well. So be careful, set criteria, and then if you can, do some keyword research ahead of time and you pick the topics. And if they agree to write on it, then great. Anything else, Neil?
That's it.
All right, that's it for today, guys. marketingschool.io/live. That's LIVE. Apply for the Growth Accelerator event. Right now it's virtual. It looks like it's a good fit. Neil and I will give you a call, and we will see you tomorrow. All right, let's do like 1 or 2 questions, and then we'll be done.
Cool.
Let's see. So we've got Mandy Smith is asking about FAQ schema working on home pages, or is it just internal pages?
It works on internal pages as well. It actually works better on internal pages than home pages.
Cool. And Eric Schwartzman, what are your favorite tools for injecting CTAs?
Eric, what's your favorite tool to add CTAs to your website? I just do it all manually.
Yeah, we do it manually. I know there's a. Oh, okay. Look, if you want to add CTAs, I would just use like a CRO tool. If I'm assuming you're looking for just a kind of Band-Aid, a Band-Aid option right now, you can definitely use Google Optimize. You can use Optimizely. I would just recommend hard coding it and just doing it manually. That would make your life easier.
You can use VWO as well.
You can use lead pages too. Lead pages allows you to put insert CTAs onto the pages. They'll give you like a short link, so you can do that, or Unbounce or any of these landing page tools.
All right, I'm gonna butcher this name, Suprajoti. I don't know if I got that.
That was a good try.
Close, yeah, Suprajoti. So looking for help with engagement. So he or she's got 80 plus posts, but is getting very low impression. What's the mistake?
If you're having 80 plus posts with very low impressions, look at your content and see if it's thorough. If it's not thorough, then go and make it more thorough. If you don't have good keywords in there, do keyword research. There's a lot of free tools like Uber Suggests, SEMrush has a free version, Google Keyword Planner. Make sure you have the right keywords. It also could be you don't have internal linking between your posts. So make sure there's internal linking. And of course, external links help a lot too. So go and build some external links.
Yeah, and look at your analytics too. I mean, look at where the retention is, look at where the drop off is, and then you can kind of get a sense of why people are dropping off. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you have like a really disruptive thing going on in the very beginning where people just drop off and then you're getting like no impressions. So take that into account as well.
Cool. One more, maybe?
We'll do one more and then we're off.
All right. So this is a productivity one. I guess both of you can ask this, but Super Overdrive says, Neil, how did you plan your days when you did most of the stuff by yourself, like back in the day?
Just create a checklist, what needs to be done throughout the day, like a to-do list, and I would make sure I get it done. If I have to wake up early and sleep late and work 13, 14 hours, it is what it is. It's reality.
Cool. All right. So that is it, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Those of you that stuck around to the end, thank you. And thank you from all the different channels, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, all the things, Facebook. And we'll catch you next week or the week after. I believe it's next week as well. So see you later. Have a good weekend.